The country is bracing for a shortage of water.
The country is bracing for a shortage of water.
그 나라는 물 부족에 대비하고 있다.
Brace for.
무엇에 대비하다.
The country is bracing for a shortage of water. We aim to raise awareness about climate change.
We aim to raise awareness about climate change.
우리는 기후변화에 대한 의식을 고취하려고 한다.
Raise awareness.
의식을 고취하다.
We aim to raise awareness about climate change. Hopes are fading.
Hopes are fading.
희망이 사라지고 있다.
Fade.
흐려지다. 사라지다.
Hopes are fading. Crisis deters people from loosening purse strings.
Crisis deters people from loosening purse strings.
위기로 인해 사람들이 지갑을 열지 못하고 있다.
Deter from B.
A로 하여금 B를 못하게 방해하다.
Crisis deters people from loosening purse strings. Thousands of travelers are stranded at the airport.
Thousands of travelers are stranded at the airport.
수천 명의 여행자들이 공항에 발이 묶여 있다.
Stranded.
발이 묶이다.
Thousands of travelers are stranded at the airport. Hardly a day goes by without the news of crimes.
Hardly a day goes by without the news of crimes.
하루가 멀다 하고 범죄 뉴스를 듣게 된다.
Hardly a day goes by without.
하루가 멀다 하고 무엇이 벌어지다.
Hardly a day goes by without the news of crimes. The story was all designed to cover up the fraud.
The story was all designed to cover up the fraud.
그 이야기는 전적으로 사기를 은폐하려는 목적으로 설계되었다.
Cover up.
은폐하다.
The story was all designed to cover up the fraud. We prefer small but certain outcomes.
We prefer small but certain outcomes.
우리는 작지만 확실한 성과를 선호한다.
Certain.
확실한.
We prefer small but certain outcomes. The theory was reinforced by subsequent studies.
The theory was reinforced by subsequent studies.
그 이론은 후속 연구들에 의해서 뒷받침되었다.
Reinforce.
이론이나 주장을 강화하다.
The theory was reinforced by subsequent studies. The king tried to bring the media under his control.
The king tried to bring the media under his control.
왕은 언론을 자신의 통제하에 두려고 시도했다.
Bring under control.
무엇을 통제하에 두다.
The king tried to bring the media under his control. A cure for cancer is within our reach.
A cure for cancer is within our reach.
암 정복이 가까워졌다.
Within reach.
손이 미치는 영역에, 가능한 영역에.
A cure for cancer is within our reach. It is the other way around.
It is the other way around.
그것은 정반대이다.
The other way around.
정반대인.
It is the other way around. If you are engrossed in music, you don't hear me.
If you are engrossed in music, you don't hear me.
당신이 음악에 몰두해 있다면 내 말을 듣지 못한다.
Engrossed in.
무엇에 몰두하다. 빠져 있다.
If you are engrossed in music, you don't hear me. They seek to make peace between neighbors.
They seek to make peace between neighbors.
그들은 이웃들 간에 평화를 추구한다.
Seek to.
무엇을 추구하다.
They seek to make peace between neighbors. Her book strikes a chord with young readers.
Her book strikes a chord with young readers.
그녀의 책은 젊은 독자들의 심금을 울린다.
Strike a chord with.
누구의 심금을 울리다.
Her book strikes a chord with young readers. Waging war should be used only in the last resort.
Waging war should be used only in the last resort.
전쟁은 오직 최후의 수단으로서만 이용되어야 한다.
In the last resort.
최후의 수단으로서.
Waging war should be used only in the last resort. In the meantime, they prepared for an all-out war.
In the meantime, they prepared for an all-out war.
그동안 그들은 전면전을 준비했다.
In the meantime.
그동안 그 사이에.
In the meantime, they prepared for an all-out war. In the wake of the conflict, new states emerged.
In the wake of the conflict, new states emerge.
분쟁의 결과로 새로운 국가들이 생겨났다.
In the wake of.
무엇의 결과로.
In the wake of the conflict, new states emerged. I am convinced of his innocence.
I am convinced of his innocence.
나는 그의 무죄를 확신한다.
Convinced of.
무엇을 확신하다.
I am convinced of his innocence. Theory illuminates empirical data.
Theory illuminates empirical data.
이론은 경험적인 자료를 해명해준다.
Illuminate.
무엇을 해명해주다.
Theory illuminates empirical data. He draws on his experience for a new novel.
He draws on his experience for a new novel.
그는 새로운 소설에 그의 경험을 활용한다.
Drawn.
무엇을 자원으로 활용하다.
He draws on his experience for a new novel. Sociology deepens understanding of society.
Sociology deepens understanding of society.
사회학은 사회에 대한 이해를 심화시킨다.
Deepen,
깊게 하다. 심화하다.
Sociology deepens understanding of society. Given their age, it's not surprising.
given their age, it's not surprising.
그들의 나이를 감안하면 놀라운 일이 아니다.
Given,
무엇을 고려하면, 감안하면.
Given their age, it's not surprising. This chapter is concerned with gender issues.
this chapter is concerned with gender issues.
이 장은 성평등 이슈들을 다루고 있다.
Concerned with,
무엇에 대한 것을 다루는?
This chapter is concerned with gender issues. Take a step back from our personal worldview.
take a step back from our personal worldview.
우리의 개인적인 세계관으로부터 한 발짝 뒤로 물러나세요.
Take a step back from,
무엇으로부터 한 발짝 물러나다.
Take a step back from our personal worldview. He made a public appearance last Monday.
he made a public appearance last Monday.
그는 지난 월요일에 공개적으로 모습을 드러냈다.
Make a public appearance.
공개적으로 모습을 드러내다.
He made a public appearance last Monday. The benefits outweigh the risk of side effects.
The benefits outweigh the risk of side effects.
혜택이 부작용의 위험보다 크다.
Outweigh,
무엇보다 우세하다.
The benefits outweigh the risk of side effects. Modern society is marked by constant change.
modern society is marked by constant change.
현대 사회는 끊임없는 변화가 두드러진다.
Marked by,
무엇이 두드러진.
Modern society is marked by constant change. This view seems so self-evident.
this view seems so self-evident.
이 견해는 너무도 자명해 보인다.
Self-evident.
자명한.
This view seems so self-evident. Falling in love is rarely associated with marriage.
Falling in love is rarely associated with marriage.
사랑에 빠진다는 것이 결혼과 거의 관련되지 않는다.
Associated with,
무엇과 관련되다.
Falling in love is rarely associated with marriage. Their interests were bound up with the war.
their interests were bound up with the war.
그들의 이해관계는 그 전쟁과 긴밀히 연결되어 있다.
Bound up with,
무엇과 긴밀하게 연결되다.
Their interests were bound up with the war. The candidate dodged sensitive questions.
the candidate dodged sensitive questions.
그 후보자는 민감한 질문들을 회피하였다.
Dodge.
회피하다.
The candidate dodged sensitive questions. The pollution isn't confined to urban areas.
The pollution isn't confined to urban areas.
오염은 도시 지역에 한정되지 않는다.
Confined to.
무엇에 한정되는.
The pollution isn't confined to urban areas. Today, the unemployment rate is at all-time high.
Today, the unemployment rate is at all-time high.
현재 실업률은 사상 최고이다.
At all-time high.
사상 최고인.
Today, the unemployment rate is at all-time high. In many respects, friendship is better than love.
In many respects, friendship is better than love.
많은 점에서 우정이 사랑보다 낫다.
In many respects.
많은 점에서.
In many respects, friendship is better than love. No exercise can have serious consequences.
No exercise can have serious consequences.
운동을 하지 않으면 심각한 결과를 초래할 수 있다.
Have a consequence.
결과를 초래하다.
No exercise can have serious consequences. He was gaining his livelihood as a cigarette vendor.
He was gaining his livelihood as a cigarette vendor.
그는 담배 판매상으로 생계를 꾸려나가고 있었다.
Gain one's livelihood.
생계를 꾸리다.
He was gaining his livelihood as a cigarette vendor. The job involves a lot of traveling.
The job involves a lot of traveling.
그 일은 많은 여행을 동반한다.
Involve.
포함하다. 연루시키다.
The job involves a lot of traveling. The new regulations come into force next week.
The new regulations come into force next week.
새로운 규정이 다음 주부터 실행된다.
Come into force.
법, 규정 등이 실행되다.
The new regulations come into force next week. CRM refers to customer relationship management.
CRM refers to customer relationship management.
CRM은 고객관계 관리를 지칭한다.
Refer to.
지칭하다.
CRM refers to customer relationship management. Her words contrast with her facial expression.
Her words contrast with her facial expression.
그녀의 말은 표정과 대비된다.
Contrast with.
무엇과 대비되다.
Her words contrast with her facial expression. The building is modeled on an 18th century palace.
The building is modeled on an 18th century palace.
그 건물은 18세기 궁전을 모델로 하여 지어졌다.
Modeled on.
무엇을 모델로 하다.
The building is modeled on an 18th century palace. This region lags behind the rest of the world.
This region lags behind the rest of the world.
이 지역은 다른 지역에 비해 뒤처져 있다.
Lag behind.
무엇에 뒤처지다.
This region lags behind the rest of the world. It is a jaw-dropping movie.
It is a jaw-dropping movie.
그것은 매우 놀라운 영화다.
Jaw-dropping.
매우 놀라운.
It is a jaw-dropping movie. Until getting the results, they will remain in limbo.
Until getting the results, they will remain in limbo.
결과를 받을 때까지 그들은 불확실한 상태에 머무를 것이다.
In limbo.
이도저도 아닌 불확실한 상태에.
Until getting the results, they will remain in limbo. The engine ground to a halt.
The engine ground to a halt.
엔진이 서서히 멈추었다.
Grind to a halt.
서서히 멈추다.
The engine ground to a halt. Children cannot fend for themselves.
Children cannot fend for themselves.
아이들은 스스로를 돌볼 수 없다.
Fend for oneself.
남의 도움 없이 스스로를 돌보다.
Children cannot fend for themselves. This song is geared to the younger generation.
This song is geared to the younger generation.
이 노래는 좀 더 젊은 세대를 겨냥하여 만들어졌다.
Geared to.
무엇을 겨냥한, 무엇에 맞도록 만든.
This song is geared to the younger generation. By far the most important issue is food insecurity.
By far the most important issue is food insecurity.
단연 가장 중요한 문제는 식량의 불안정성이다.
By far.
단연, 월등하게 큰 차이로.
By far the most important issue is food insecurity. Short-sightedness is especially true of young men.
Short-sightedness is especially true of young men.
근시안적인 것은 특히 젊은 남자들의 경우에 그러하다.
True of.
무엇에 적용되다, 무엇의 특성이다.
Short-sightedness is especially true of young men. The elders still have an important say in Asia.
The elders still have an important say in Asia.
아시아에서는 아직도 연장자가 중요한 발언권을 가진다.
Have a say.
발언권을 가지다.
The elders still have an important say in Asia. Look at the main characteristics of this in turn.
Look at the main characteristics of this in turn.
이것의 주된 특징들을 하나씩 살펴보세요.
In turn.
하나씩 순서대로.
Look at the main characteristics of this in turn. He is a famous businessman in his own right.
He is a famous businessman in his own right.
그는 혼자 힘으로 유명한 사업가가 되었다.
In one's right.
남의 도움 없이 혼자 힘으로.
He is a famous businessman in his own right. The issue of gender equality is still in dispute.
The issue of gender equality is still in dispute.
성평등 문제가 아직도 논란 중이다.
In dispute.
논란 중인.
The issue of gender equality is still in dispute. My boss gave the go-ahead for me to leave.
My boss gave the go-ahead for me to leave.
나의 상사는 내가 떠나는 것을 허락하였다.
Give the go-ahead.
허락하다.
My boss gave the go-ahead for me to leave. It seems that he has something up his sleeve.
It seems that he has something up his sleeve.
그에게는 뭔가 꿍꿍이 속이 있는 것처럼 보인다.
Have something up one's sleeve.
계획, 생각 등을 숨기다.
It seems that he has something up his sleeve. This disease can give rise to other complications.
This disease can give rise to other complications.
이 병은 다른 합병증을 일으킬 수 있다.
Give rise to.
무엇을 일으키다.
This disease can give rise to other complications. Very few people have questioned his view.
Very few people have questioned his view.
그의 견해에 의문을 제기하는 사람은 거의 없었다.
Question.
의문을 제기하다.
Very few people have questioned his view. He objects to it on the grounds that it is not safe.
He objects to it on the grounds that it is not safe.
그는 안전하지 않다는 이유로 그것에 반대한다.
On the grounds that.
무엇이라는 이유로.
He objects to it on the grounds that it is not safe. I have clear-cut evidence that you lied to me.
I have clear-cut evidence that you lied to me.
나는 내가 거짓말을 했다는 명백한 증거를 가지고 있다.
Clear-cut.
명백한.
I have clear-cut evidence that you lied to me. Sentimentality is characteristic of young girls.
Sentimentality is characteristic of young girls.
감상성은 소녀들의 특성이다.
Characteristic of.
무엇의 특성인.
Sentimentality is characteristic of young girls. The argument can't stand up well to criticism.
The argument can't stand up well to criticism.
그 주장은 비판을 당해내지 못한다.
Stand up.
진실임이 입증되다.
The argument can't stand up well to criticism. You are ill-suited for this technology job.
You are ill-suited for this technology job.
당신은 이 기술직에 적합하지 않다.
Ill-suited.
부적합한.
You are ill-suited for this technology job. He is taking advantage of your innocence.
He is taking advantage of your innocence.
그는 너의 순진함을 악용하고 있다.
Take advantage of.
무엇을 악용하다.
He is taking advantage of your innocence. Make the best of your situation in the office.
Make the best of your situation in the office.
사무실에서의 당신의 상황을 잘 활용하세요.
Make the best of.
잘 활용하다.
Make the best of your situation in the office. Your hard work will eventually pay off.
Your hard work will eventually pay off.
내가 열심히 일한 것은 결국 성과를 낼 것이다.
Pay off.
성과를 내다.
Your hard work will eventually pay off. Postal services came into being in the 19th century.
Postal services came into being in the 19th century.
우편 서비스들이 19세기에 생겨났다.
Come into being.
생겨나다.
Postal services came into being in the 19th century. This view is substantiated by what we know today.
This view is substantiated by what we know today.
이 견해는 우리가 오늘날 알고 있는 바에 의해 입증된다.
Substantiate.
입증하다.
This view is substantiated by what we know today. They call for an end to fare ripoff on trains.
They call for an end to fare ripoff on trains.
그들은 바가지 열차 요금을 종식시킬 것을 요구한다.
Ripoff.
바가지 요금.
They call for an end to fare ripoff on trains. Put away toys and break with childish pursuits.
Put away toys and break with childish pursuits.
장난감들을 치우고 유치한 오락들을 그만두어라.
Break with.
그만두다. 단절하다.
Put away toys and break with childish pursuits. Release from childhood dreams can be liberating.
Release from childhood dreams can be liberating.
유년 시절의 꿈들에서 풀려나는 것은 너를 해방시키는 것일 수 있다.
Release.
풀려남.
Release from childhood dreams can be liberating.
Being fired proved a blessing in disguise.
Being fired proved a blessing in disguise.
해고당한 것은 불행을 가장한 축복이었음이 드러났다.
Blessing in disguise.
불행을 가장한 축복.
Being fired proved a blessing in disguise. Don't count your chickens before they hatch.
Don't count your chickens before they hatch.
김칫국부터 마시지 말라.
Count chickens before they hatch.
김칫국부터 마시다.
Don't count your chickens before they hatch. Don't judge a book by its cover.
Don't judge a book by its cover.
겉모습으로 판단하지 말아라.
Judge a book by its cover.
겉모습으로 가치를 판단하다.
Don't judge a book by its cover. He just said that in the heat of the moment.
He just said that in the heat of the moment.
그는 단지 흥분에 쌓여 그것을 말한 것일 뿐이다.
In the heat of the moment.
흥분해서 생각 없이.
He just said that in the heat of the moment. He had to cut through the red tape.
He had to cut through the red tape.
그는 관료주의를 극복해야 했다.
Cut through the red tape.
관료주의를 극복하다.
He had to cut through the red tape. The criminal was caught red-handed.
The criminal was caught red-handed.
그 범죄자는 현행범으로 체포되었다.
Caught red-handed.
현행범으로 체포되다.
The criminal was caught red-handed. The difference between them is gray area.
The difference between them is gray area.
그것들 간의 차이는 구분이 애매하다.
Gray area.
회색지대.
The difference between them is gray area. He is a black sheep in his family.
He is a black sheep in his family.
그는 가족의 수치다.
Black sheep.
가족이나 집단의 수치가 되는 사람.
He is a black sheep in his family. They finally got the green light for their business.
They finally got the green light for their business.
그들은 결국 그들의 사업에 대한 허가를 얻었다.
Get the green light.
허락을 얻다.
They finally got the green light for their business. Don't translate poems word for word.
Don't translate poems word for word.
시를 단어 그대로 번역하지 말라.
Word for word.
단어 그대로.
Don't translate poems word for word. It's out of my hands.
It's out of my hands.
그것은 내가 결정할 수 있는 사안이 아니다.
Out of my hands.
내가 결정할 수 있는 일이 아닌.
It's out of my hands. Get out of your comfort zone.
Get out of your comfort zone.
당신의 익숙한 곳에서 벗어나라.
Comfort zone.
익숙하고 편안한 곳.
Get out of your comfort zone. He felt flattered to be praised by many people.
He felt flattered to be praised by many people.
그는 많은 사람들에 의해서 칭찬을 받자 우쭐해졌다.
Flattered.
우쭐하다.
He felt flattered to be praised by many people. The great scenery took my breath away.
The great scenery took my breath away.
그 장엄한 풍경은 나의 숨을 멎게 했다.
Take one's breath away.
대단하여 숨을 멎게 하다.
The great scenery took my breath away. Excessive use of the drug has begun to tell on him.
Excessive use of the drug has begun to tell on him.
약물 과다가 그에게 눈에 띄게 나쁜 영향을 미치기 시작했다.
Tell on.
누구에게 눈에 띄게 나쁜 영향을 미치다.
Excessive use of the drug has begun to tell on him. Sometimes, her words carry weight with us.
Sometimes, her words carry weight with us.
때때로 그녀의 말은 우리들에게 무게감을 지닌다.
Carry weight.
무게감을 지니다.
Sometimes, her words carry weight with us. She stood me up last night.
She stood me up last night.
그녀는 어젯밤에 나를 바람맞췄다.
Stood up.
A를 바람맞히다.
She stood me up last night. This proverb dates back to the 17th century.
This proverb dates back to the 17th century.
이 속담은 17세기로 거슬러 올라간다.
Date back to.
과거의 어느 때로 거슬러 올라가다.
This proverb dates back to the 17th century. You are living beyond your means.
You are living beyond your means.
너는 분에 넘치는 생활을 하고 있다.
Live beyond one's means.
형편에 맞지 않게 생활하다.
You are living beyond your means. I was a little disconcerted by her sudden change.
I was a little disconcerted by her sudden change.
나는 그녀의 갑작스런 변화로 약간 걱정이 되었다.
Disconcerted.
걱정스러운, 혼란한.
I was a little disconcerted by her sudden change. They reached an agreement for both to save face.
They reach an agreement for both to save face.
그들은 양측이 모두 체면을 세울 수 있는 합의에 도달했다.
Save face.
체면을 세우다.
They reached an agreement for both to save face. I am using the term freedom in a broad sense.
I am using the term freedom in a broad sense.
나는 자유라는 용어를 넓은 의미에서 사용하고 있다.
In a broad sense.
넓은 의미에서.
I am using the term freedom in a broad sense. Factions were previously at war with one another.
Factions were previously at war with one another.
파벌들은 이전에는 서로 간의 전쟁 상태였다.
At war with.
누구와 전쟁 상태인.
Factions were previously at war with one another. He was not obliged to conform to the house rule.
He was not obliged to conform to the house rule.
그는 그곳의 규칙을 따를 의무가 없었다.
Conform to.
무엇에 순응하다.
He was not obliged to conform to the house rule. She, on the other hand, doesn't display anger.
She, on the other hand, doesn't display anger.
반면 그녀는 화를 드러내지 않는다.
On the other hand.
반면에
She, on the other hand, doesn't display anger. The bottom line is, our company is in the black.
The bottom line is, our company is in the black.
핵심은 우리 회사가 이익을 내고 있다는 것이다.
Bottom line.
가장 중요한 사항, 핵심.
The bottom line is, our company is in the black. He finally made sense of the meaning in his pain.
He finally made sense of the meaning in his pain.
그는 결국 그의 고통 안에 있는 의미를 이해했다.
Make sense of.
이해하다.
He finally made sense of the meaning in his pain. Check if something is left over after dinner.
Check if something is left over after dinner.
식사 후 남은 음식이 없는지 확인해 보아라.
Left over.
음식이 남아 있는
Check if something is left over after dinner. You should be more open to other perspectives.
You should be more open to other perspectives.
너는 다른 관점들에 대해 좀 더 개방적이어야 한다.
Open to.
무엇에 열려 있는
You should be more open to other perspectives.